Hi, I'm Jim Bearden, and this is Lesson 13 in Leadership at the Points of Contact. In this section of the program, we're looking at one of the key roles that leaders play in organizational settings, and that is to expand and enhance employee engagement, employee participation in crucial organizational processes. After wading through all of the hyperbole around the notion of multi-generational workforces, we've come to the conclusion that it's not a new phenomenon and that effective leaders always seem to find a way to transcend the differences that are characterized by the members of their workforce, to transform factions into functional teams. We have seen that one of the things that leaders do in order to make that transformation and to expand and enhance employee engagement is to understand and deliver the value that their employees are seeking. We started with 4 basic premises around which we are building our tactics, or the things that we're going to do to understand our employees' definitions of value. Specifically, we use these premises as the basis for the 4 types of questions that we're going to use to initiate and sustain an ongoing dialogue. The 4 types of questions are what questions, priority questions, clarification questions, and why questions. In our previous lesson, we covered the what questions. These are the ones you use to initiate this exchange. This is where you would ask employees, what are some of the things that you want back from us, our organization, in return for the things we ask you to do? And we agreed that this is a process, not an event, so it may require several settings, but ultimately what you're doing is provoking them to think and then provide you with thoughtful responses that would include a list of the things that they want back, which brings us to the second type of question, priority question. Now, you may have broken new ground with your employees with the what questions. In other words, they may not have had much experience in organizational settings with managers asking them about the things they want back. They may have had some experience with it in the interview process, and frankly, they may have some experience with managers, but probably not very much. But I promise you this, when you get to the priority questions, you're going to be breaking new ground. And here's what that means to you. When you ask this question, you are going to need to be prepared to endure some periods of silence. First, let me give you an example of the type of question I'm talking about. In the previous question, the what question, you ask, what are some of the things you want back from us in return for the things that we expect you to do? And you've got your list. This question would be something like this. Now, tell me, Joe, how would you rank those things in their order of importance to you? And what I'm telling you is breaking new ground. They're not going to have any pat, top-of-mind, canned responses. Why is that? Because nobody's ever asked them this before. So you need to create and sustain a forum in which they're comfortable thinking. And oftentimes, thinking is done silently. Here's a challenge for you. I want you to get comfortable with 5 counts of silence. Now, that probably didn't seem very long to you watching the screen and me stand here being quiet, but I promise you, when you're face to face with an employee and you ask a question and there's this 5 counts of silence, it seems like eternity. And here's the mistake that a lot of people make when they encounter the silence. They can't endure it, and so they answer the question for the employee. They may ask something like, so tell me, Joe, how would you rank those in their order of importance to you? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. I mean, is pay pretty important? You understand? We are taking the ball back. We need to be working to understand their definition of value, not providing them with what we think their definition of value should be, to include not just the factors or the things they want back, but to include the order of importance that they would assign to each of these things. Again, the sample question here would be, how would you rank those things in their order of importance to you? And hush. Here are the action items for this lesson. And there are two of them. One, in order to help you and the other members of your leadership team become more comfortable with and proficient at facilitating this process, I want you to answer this question, just like you did the what question, before you go out to the staff and start asking them to do so. So, after you have identified the things you expect back in return for the things you're expected to do in your organization, and that was the action item from last week, I want you to go back through those items and I want you to assign an order of importance to each one of those things. What you're learning as you go through these steps yourself is you're learning, one, how difficult they can be, and you are adequately preparing yourself to be able to deal with the challenges that employees may face. The action items for this and all of the lessons are vitally important. By now you know, you've heard me say that, but I've got to reiterate. This is where you translate the theory or the concepts into behavior in your organization. And that's what this program is all about. Leadership at the points of contact is about leadership behavior.